scanning the few buildings and the cars parked nearby. Ewan wasn't here. Her stomach lurched anew, and she stood still, her head swivelling from right to left. Ewan, Ewan, please come. If he didn't, it would all be for nothing. A car horn beeped, and oh, he was here and she was safe. Everything was going to be all right. Her heart singing, Marie fled towards the battered Ford Escort now manoeuvring into place for a quick getaway. At the top of the slipway, she spun round for one final look. The narrow stretch of water she'd just crossed was sparkling in the sunshine, and beyond it lay her island, Skye, with its shining waters and wonderful moving shadows, and her beautiful black Coolin mountains. Today she was leaving for good, and she was taking the secret with her. No one could ever know. Chapter 1. Sunday, 14th of March. The best thing about living bang in the centre of York was that you could walk home after a meal out with an old friend. Emma Carter crossed the road and waved to Jasmine as the other woman's car passed by. They'd be able to do this more often now that Jazz was living in Leeds and not London. The floodlit towers of York Minster provided a breathtaking backdrop as Emma hurried on. She would usually stop and admire it, but not tonight. Luke would be home now, and wow, oh wow, at long last she could share the news she'd been keeping from the world since Friday. Telling your guy he was going to be a dad was definitely something you wanted to do face to face, but Luke had spent the past 5 days in Ralton Bridge, helping his parents after last week's storm demolished half their roof. Emma thrust her hands into her jacket pockets. It was still blustery even in town, and of course it had been a whole lot worse out in the wilds of Yorkshire, where Marie and Ewan lived. But Luke had coped. He was lovely like that. Her Luke. A kind person. And oh, this was going to be so good. Their baby. They'd be a family. Emma laid a hand on her middle, fingers spreading protectively. It would be okay this time. Her footsteps faltered as she rounded the corner into Arran Street, then stopped. Glassy black windows were clearly visible in their mid-terrace home, a ground-floor flat with a lovely view of the Minster from the living area. That was odd. Luke had left Ralton Bridge over an hour ago. He texted her before driving off. Even in the rush hour, it didn't take all this time to get here, and Sunday evening traffic was usually light. Hopefully they hadn't had a power cut or something equally disastrous. Imagine trying to get hold of an electrician at 10 o'clock on Sunday evening. 5 paces on, the mystery deepened, because there was the car, parked on the street instead of in their private space behind the building. Had Luke brought his parents back for some reason? The private space was narrow and tended to be muddy underfoot, and Ewan's hip made walking on slippery surfaces hard for him. Emma hurried the 20 metres to the flat, fumbling in her handbag for her keys. Inside, she clicked the hallway light switch, and the hall table and coat stand were illuminated in the usual way. She headed straight into the main room. "Luke, are you okay? I saw the car." He was standing in the kitchen area, an almost empty glass of red wine in one hand. Emma stopped dead. Here in the dimness, with the Minster floodlights throwing eerie shadows across the room, Luke looked like all the ghosts in medieval England had been chasing him down the A19. In the course of 4 days, he seemed to have lost his upright posture, and dark, staring eyes in a pale face completed the panda look. He put his glass down on the kitchen island and came to meet her, enveloping her in a tight, silent hug, a pulse in his neck throbbing against Emma's cheek, as if he'd been running. It was a moment before he spoke. "I'm fine. I just wanted to get inside quickly." Emma pressed her face against him, breathing in his familiar aftershave, then leaned back to see him properly. Luke might be fine, but something wasn't. She'd never seen him like this, eyes shifting all over the place, and hands trembling against her back. After a few days away, her husband was usually more of a